Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Convo Live. This is Sunday morning, October the 11th, 2020, and I have a special guest with us today, Olivia Florian. She is a dear friend and colleague, and I'm so excited to have her on. Welcome, Olivia.
Yeah, thank you.
And she's
I'm
coming
really
all
glad
the
to be
way.
here.
She's coming all the way from Sweden, so way
Yeah.
across the pond.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section, and I will try to be mindful of them. And we're excited to get started because our topic today is coloring outside of the lines for a more vibrant life. So trying to break out of normalcy and trying to fit in and being really who you are. So let's just set our intention. Just be mindful today as we go through this broadcast that we set our intention to commit to being more authentically who you are. So as we talk, listen carefully and see where you can add some creativity and play and vitality into your life that would support being more of you, who you are. So Olivia and I met on during a coaching program, a year-long coaching program with Darla Ledoux of Sourced Experience. And we got to enjoy so many times together on video and in classes, but we also got to retreat together in person when that was a thing. And one day we'll get to do that again. So I'm going to read Olivia's bio, and then we're going to get started. So Olivia Florian is a coach and healer. She's also a recovering engineer. She invites you to color outside the lines to fully express the joy of being you and live on purpose that makes you alive and is fun. Don't we all need more fun? She works with embodiment, sensuality, and creative expressions through presence coaching, workshops, and retreats. You also call yourself a creative evolution catalyst. Can you tell us a little bit about what that might mean?
Yeah, really, it's really for me to embody this part that wants to create, wants to express in different ways, so that the creative part of us, knowing that we are anyway creative in our lives, that's who we are creators. So that's why I really want to have this, and we are in evolution anytime. And it's when we don't listen to that voice that wants to evolve that we feel stuck, feel more little. So the catalyst is really bring that up in everybody's life to encourage that force that just wants to bloom and grow. So creatively bloom and evolve. That's what this creative evolution catalyst is standing for.
I love that. And Olivia is a beautiful artist. Oh my goodness, you should see some of her artwork. When you get a chance, I posted her website, and her website is also there under her name. And she just does these amazing, even body paintings, and she creates poetry and creates body art that is it just touches your soul. And then to have the words of the poetry back that up, it creates such a deep feeling when you experience her creativity. So who is Olivia Florian? Who would Olivia be on the inside?
Yeah. On the inside, it's many parts, but they are coming more together. And it's an artist, as you named that. It's also a recovering engineer, meaning I am someone who has lived from my mind, very much rationalized a lot in my life. And I'm also just so much a body that wants to express. So there is this need of gathering who I am, so gathering the pieces that have been quiet many years and put them up together again and really feel the call of my soul saying, everything that is me is allowed to be here and is really welcome in the world. And that's both what I've felt for me, and that's what I've been observing. And when I see people depressed and going little, I know that it's always because they are questioning the way they are. They are not how a man should look like. They are too slow. They are too big. There is always something we are criticizing about ourselves. And that's really what passionates me. It's really make it so clear that anything in you, you can look at it and discover that actually it's there for a purpose. It's there for you.
Yes.
So that's really.
So not like shutting down parts of us that we just don't like or whatever, but actually embracing every part of us.
Yeah.
To be more expressive of who we really are.
Yeah, and because also that's what I discover. I've been through also depression, anxieties, and not understanding, following the script of what should life look like. And I had a good life as an engineer. I had family, I had a good job, when I was looking around, it was like, what do I want more? Why don't I feel good when I'm having the thing that I've learned that I need to be happy in life? And then more and more understanding that I'm shutting down. I'm trying to not be that emotional being in my corporate world. I try to be just rational when I'm not just rational. I have feelings that tells me, I have other expressions that I always felt like, oh, that's a weakness. That's not appropriate.
Right. Yeah, it's like we don't allow ourselves, if we're in the business world at all, it's like you don't allow yourselves to be an emotional person or a feeling person. It's just, this is the way it is. We're going to march through life and we're going to take these steps, and this helps us climb the ladder, and that's all we can be. But
and there is a proving, and there is only what I can prove with a formula, with an experiment that you can redo, and going for a feeling, going for it feels right or wrong. That's not you need to find the clues and the reasons, and that's not really allowing to flow and really do the things that we really want to do. So it's really allowing every part of us.
So I know you're talking about adding more creativity and more allowing yourself to be expressed, but and kind of step out of that normalcy or that myth of being normal or fitting in. So what kind of got you started realizing I got to break out of this box of normalcy, of fitting in? Why would somebody else start feeling like, what is the pull that starts feeling like I can't do this anymore?
Yeah. Well, for me, there was a shift at the point when as I said, there has been anxieties and depression, and I was talking with a friend, explaining how much I was investing in my work, how much I was really saying I'm bringing the best, I'm doing really the best all the day to put the work together so that the team works well, that the work is more and more structured and gets more. And by the end of the day, I'm still so tired. I'm so drained. I'm not happy. I don't even find the way of being proud of all that I'm putting out. And then she stops and says, well, then you're not doing your best. And it felt like, a big slap in my face, like, what? That's what I'm doing all the time. Really, I try to give my best. I give all I have. And after a while, it was, well, that that's maybe true, in the sense that I'm giving my best in that frame, that little box of an engineer, but I'm not giving the best of who I am. I'm not giving the best of what I can bring in the world. There is something more. And from that shaky, from the discomfort and hearing that, like, yeah, there are other things that I'm caring for, that I have other values. There is a clash between my values and what I'm doing in my work. And that was the ignition point for searching and opening.
Yeah, kind of, it's almost like you get to the point where you're almost like segmenting your life. This is the way I have to be over here, and this is the way I can be over here. So there's not that blending.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Exactly. You're describing exactly. If I feel these years when I was still in my job, it was really, I don't understand. I have all these facets, but they don't fit together. I'm a mom. I'm a handcrafter. I'm an engineer, and I couldn't feel the link anymore. And once I began to leave my job and look at different things, I could really more and more and more see my world coming together, seeing the connection, being more of me, not trying to hide. And yes, it's not overnight. It's still, it's anyway a work in progress, but still that sense of, oh, all of me can be, and I don't have to compartmentalize that much. It's okay to have all these aspects, having a big mind, having big emotions, and combine the whole of that.
And I would imagine once you start, once we start actually living the whole of who we are, what a relief that brings to us.
Exactly.
Can you speak to that relief when you finally blend all your parts together, or all that mishmash stuff, or trying to fit in over here, but yet, like you said, I have a different life over here. I'm a mom, but I'm an engineer, but I'm creative. How do you blend all that together?
Yeah, well, the relief is really especially in the emotion part, as I've been a very emotional being all my life, in this, especially in the engineering world, but all over, even at school, it's always been something that I should control, something I should hide, that was inappropriate. And the more I was trying to hide that, there was, in the end, no way to hide it more than hiding myself. So not daring to do the things I would love to do, not daring to connect to people. So really that's constraining. And, even coming in a show like here would be, oh, what if, having that part of me going like, oh, if I cannot show, then I need to, and then the pressure is building, and it takes so much energy, instead of saying, just being okay, that at some point, maybe something will touch me very deeply and it will be seen, and that's fully okay. And it just shows that I'm human and that I'm connected to what's happening and what's really talking to me, instead of, oh no, I'm not, I will not be taken seriously if I cry or if I get touched in any sense. So really, and you can also look at the sensual part, because I really love that part, also owning the part of us that's experienced pleasure, the way we are in our relationship, in our sexuality. And if we try to, oh, that's not the way I've learned from my community, from my childhood, how I should be, or if I cannot express that fully, let's say, no, I'm I'm not in a marriage, or I'm in a open relationship, whichever is the way you are loving, being able to stand, like, maybe not everybody needs to know, but not needing to fear either. So just feeling, that's completely okay. That's my way. And it's not a way for life either. It's where I am here and now, and this is evolving, and this is changing, and being comfortable with it. And then suddenly I feel my spine, getting straight, and here I am. I don't need to carry and hide. And it's really, so in so many places we are trying to look the way we should look like. Well, as long as we are open, heart-centered, anyway, there are so many ways of being that are just wonderful to know and explore and hear about.
Right. Yeah. Instead of, living like that is so much more expansive. It feels so open, so much more expansive. And like you said, it's everything is a little step in our evolution. When we add this little thing in, or add that, or, we have a little bit different perspective and allow ourselves to be right here, right now, instead of saying, oh, well, I should be way down the road.
Yeah.
Just allowing ourselves to start adding these things into our lives, or start meshing our lives together, and not beat up on ourselves. I love that about, not feeling small, but allowing yourself to start feeling fulfilled.
Yeah. And really, and it's also catching up with parts that haven't been able to express when we were younger, and they are somehow frozen in us. So sometimes that's what we see in so many times. Suddenly there is a childish part coming out, and there is no need either to shame this child part either when she's coming up, because then it's just showing up that, there is a need that has never been answered, and really be with it and notice that, no, I had no model at the time that was better than what I have, and now it's coming back to me, and here it is, and I can own it and give her that part, the love that she was craving, and reassure her, and find another way to express with her.
Right. And add that childlike playfulness in. We as adults, we squelch that because we're told, oh, you're not supposed to be like that. You have to fit in this little box, and you can't let that playfulness show, because you'll look like you're not being responsible.
Yeah, and there is so much creativity and ideas and energy. And as you know, when we are just allowing that energy to flow through us, that's also where the best ideas and the best solutions to problems that are so-called serious are coming, while when we are in the lower energy and heavy energy, and not allowing the playfulness to rise, then it's hard work, and it's seldom really innovative or really answering the question from the best point of view. But when we can just allow this playfulness, that's why I've been doing this body painting. It was really for liberating my art expression, instead of constraining it, like inviting my playing child, and like, oh, I'm doing something I shouldn't do. Great. And then being liberated of performing anything. And from there, I've seen my art evolving in ways that were really pleasant, because I was taking pleasure in the process. And even many years ago, when I began to draw again, my son was maybe between 5 and 10, and it said, well, I know, Mom, it doesn't matter how it looks like when you're finished. You're just so enjoying the process. It didn't say process, it was too young for this word, but you're having so much pleasure and joy while you're doing it. So it really understood the essence of that. That's the most important thing is enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. And what comes out, sometimes you're just like, wow, I really love the results. And if there is no other result than just having had a good time creating, that's already a wonderful result.
Right. Yeah, I like how you brought out that, you know, our playfulness, our creativity, it allows us to raise our vibration. And that is where the solutions are. That's where the answers are. So
exactly.
If you're feeling heavy in questions or making decisions, you know, if we lighten up a little bit, you know, solutions can produce themselves. Because every time we face a problem, the solution is immediately created too. It's just which direction are we looking back at the heavy problem, or are we looking toward the solution? And the solution is always light feeling, energetic, vibrant, you know, so we have to put ourselves in those thoughts and emotions and positions of creativity to reach that solution. Don't you think?
Yeah, really. And it's really relearning how to use our wonderful brains, because I have it's still daily catching up myself into working hard in figuring out how things should work. And then it's like, oh, that energy, that when it's so resistant, it's like, no, wait a minute. Relax. How can I relax? How can I just come at ease again? And just allow myself sit for 5 or 10 minutes, because my energy has been heavy and contracted in my mind running, and really letting the mind slow down. And from there, when I come back, then suddenly it's like, oh yes, here it is. Here is the word. Here are the things that I was looking for. But it's really, instead of trying to pushing through, because then the more we push, the higher the resistance comes. It's really allowing to, hey, it's not you, mind. I know you've been trained. I know I've been trained so long to believe that that's the mind that has to come with the solutions, and it's not the case. It's really giving ideas, but really letting the energy relax and being in that place of, okay.
Yeah, because when we keep pushing through and we're just, you know, beating our heads against a wall, so many times it's that pushing energy is so contractive and so, you know, we just can't see the forest for the trees. We just aren't able to make decisions or come to a peaceful conclusion. And I think that peacefulness that we allow when we take a breath, step back for a few minutes, you know, refresh your energy like you were talking about, noticing that your energy has dropped is the first thing.
It's an absolute first thing, really. It's really, and because what I've been learning through the years, it's definitely, we need to hear our emotion. We need to hear and what we feel. Otherwise, if we shut it down, we just go through and through and through until we really cannot stop, when the feeling has grown so big that we cannot do anything else than hearing it. But if we can allow it, that, oh, here is an unease, here is a contraction. Oh, I need to, and I am so body, so I usually I dig into, is it enough to just move my body, to just feel it, and really, oh yeah, I need to change something. I'm not daring, or I'm not really in contact with myself. I need to slow down, for example. So really listening to that, and then it doesn't have to go so far and so many hours of trying too hard, fixing something.
Yeah, because so many times I think when we allow that pushing for so long, I mean, that's when a lot of times we crash. And then we have to take a look at what's going on. I mean, it forces us
Exactly. Exactly.
Whereas we could get out ahead of that energy, notice it, and which I teach all the time is, notice how you're feeling emotionally. And if you're feeling good, keep going. You're doing great. And then if you're feeling bad, if you'll notice during the day, then it doesn't have to snowball and get out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's really, otherwise when I let it run, that's why at the end of the day you can have achieved all the points in your to-do list, but there is no joy. There is no joy if you push through your list just for the sake of it, and not listening to, does it feel good to do what I'm doing? Then you lose your purpose. You lose your joy. It's really the difference of being tired after doing something that feels really great, and then being happy of your tiredness, and coming home drained and really disempowered, depressed, just because it didn't feel good and you didn't listen, and there is nothing left. Right. And it takes time from that place to build up again. So really, learn to listen, that this is important, and be curious. Learn to be curious.
Yeah, I like that. Be curious. Because again, that goes right back to being that playful child. Our playful children that's in us is always curious.
Yeah, they want to know. They want to discover. Yeah. Or experience.
So what helps us? Do you have some even tips or something just to help people kind of get an idea of how to start being more authentically them and not live in the world that keeps telling them, no, you have to be in a cookie cutter, normal little box that is the unsaid rules of being normal are fitting in? Because a lot of times people are afraid if they allow that emotional side of them to come up and really live who they are and be tenderhearted, that they'll be labeled like a weirdo or a rebel or something. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, how do I want to start with that? Because I know that it has been a long journey to just being happy of being called weird by a friend. It's really like, oh, thank you, you see me.
I know, I love it, but
but it's really learning step by step, quality by quality, seeing that there is always a gift somewhere. So if each time you hear that voice in yourself that is saying, oh, that's not okay, you can if you can just breathe one breath and change the question, what if there is nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with this aspect? Yes. And wonder, oh, what could be the gift? What does it bring? And it takes practice, or it takes feeling it with people who can understand it, but really just given that there is nothing wrong with me. That's one of the phrases of one of my mentors that really helped me along the way. Given that there is nothing wrong with me. Yeah. And then look at it and just allow. That's one way.
Like that, posing that question. What if there's nothing wrong with me? What if what I'm doing is really who I am, or really me, or because this feels like fun. Can I allow myself to have fun?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's also rewire. How do we connect? Am I more loving if your energy is down? If I'm down, I put my energy down too, or I'm more loving by being in my capacity, in my brightness, and really shining for you and saying, hey, here is light instead. But yes, I've been many, many years through life really automatically shining, how do you say that, dimming down my light, because people in my childhood didn't like it when I was too happy, when they were depressed, and learning that, hey, if everybody were depressed, nobody can stand up anymore. So really understand that, oh, I can be very aware of where you are at, and I can still shine. I can still feel that, oh, yes, I have a lot of energy. I can bring it to you too. And there is no, me shining is not hindering you to have any light. It's the contrary. You will rise with me if you have a chance.
Yeah. So here's a question that we might pose to ourselves. So this is one step that she's offering, you know, for us to think about when we kind of get in those positions. You know, what if there's nothing wrong with me? What if I'm really okay? What if this is really what's normal? And that other boxy world is actually what's not normal.
Exactly. And, you know, I've been reading a book a year ago, something, where the title was Normal Sucks. And it was really explaining the story of where normal comes from. And you know, you take hundreds of people, you measure them, and then you say normal is the average number of their length, of their size, and nobody is that. When we take this measurement of the normal person, there is nobody fitting into that picture. So really understanding we are all unique in bodies, in minds, in ways of being, and that's the purpose of life. It's really being all these different expressions of who we really are, because underneath is really also understanding that we are souls in a body and not. So it's really that very unique expression. And each time we try to be in the box of someone else, we're not doing what we came here for.
Yeah.
And even if you don't really resonate with that part, it just feel how it feels. That's the best thing ever, is really when I dare to express the way I love to express, I feel so much better. I feel expansive and lighter. And each time I try to, okay, I should be quiet when I have a lot of energy. I should be lower. Then my energy shrink and I feel hard, tense in my body, and it doesn't feel good. So that's really the compass. Feel how it feels.
And what about people like that are, you know, people pleasers? They feel like they have to live how somebody else expects them to live. Do you have any advice for some people that they're almost afraid to live their own life because they feel like for some reason they have this huge feeling of debt or responsibility to please everybody else, but not themselves?
Well, that's really a wonderful shift to made in life, to really understand that it's because I've been there too in believing that life should look a certain way, that there is only so much that is possible, and really that's what the wake up call for me was really, well, I have done this list, I have it, and I don't feel good. I feel really depressed. And really understanding that what's going on, and then noticing that, well, I know there is dissonance here and there is dissonance there. I'm not really saying how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking. If I go back at the time I was quitting my engineering job, I was in contact with permaculture and wondering how we were eating and then I began to study natural farming. So from a mechanical engineer to natural farming. But when I was leaving my job, I had nothing more to hide, and I was saying, well, I'm studying that, and I want to grow healthy food. And suddenly people were like, wow, opening, you know, because suddenly there was someone telling her truth, and they could bring theirs too, instead of staying into the cages and in the boxes of what's normal to talk about when we're sitting and having a coffee, at our job. So really daring to, hey.
Yeah. Your Robin said, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I've learned to create boundaries and serve myself first. First, people. It's a process and a journey. That's good stuff. Yeah. Let people know that I'm not available to perform for you because I have to live my life. I have to be fulfilled. I have to enjoy this journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think stops people from, truly being who they are? What are some of those things that they bump up against and say, oh, well, I just can't do it. I can't allow myself to be that childlike, creative, playful person. What are different things you see that stop people?
One of the primary layers that I'm seeing is really the fear of losing people. So the fear of not being accepted, or that some relationship will not be able to follow, to hold, if it's friendship or even partners or even with families. So that fear of losing connection with other people is really a huge one. And really understanding that some relationships are here for a while, and if we cannot evolve together, there are other people on your way that also are here, but we are always fearing to leave people behind. There is this loyalty, and sometimes we are really just telling us stories, because as long as we are hiding, everybody is hiding. And so we believe that, oh yes, it's really not accepted. Nobody's talking that way. And when you do that first step and allow it, then you have this resonance of, oh, here it is. Just like I said, when I was quitting my engineering job, then suddenly people came and talked and had also this kind of thoughts, but they never were talked about before I started. So there is always one person starting and remembering that. Right. Yeah. And you can start with small steps and just see and discover that, and really feel how it feels. Do you feel lighter, bigger, or how, does it feel really constraining? What is a good conversation? Is it that the people are okay with you, or is it that you feel you come out of it and say, okay, at least I just expressed how I really believe and how I really feel about the question. Because and I feel good.
Yeah. Don't you think that, sometimes we've trained each other how to treat each other, and then it's almost like we just need to retrain the other person to know what to expect from us. You make these little baby steps of caring more for yourself, putting up those boundaries. I'm available for this, but just this far, because I care about how I feel. I want to be in joy. And, you want to be that curious child to find those creative expressions. And you never know what seed you're planting for someone else. No. Does you taking on this creative expression and your uniqueness, is that giving that person the permission? Oh, it's sort of working for them. Maybe it could work for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it's really just remembering that we have all these qualities and even what we could call flows, because one of my biggest inspiration was a woman leader years ago, when I really enjoyed her leadership, the way she was guiding us in the retreat. And then suddenly she came to a place of doubting and really vulnerable. And just having the chance of witnessing her in her vulnerability, it was like such an uplifting thing for me, because it was like, oh, she too has these moments where the emotions takes over, but I know she's wonderful. I know she has something wonderful to give. And just feeling that, it just like lights up above of, oh, maybe I can try it then. Maybe I can do this kind of work, leading a group, even if I have all these vulnerable parts, these emotional parts that can just pop up.
Yeah.
That it doesn't change my way I was seeing her. I was still seeing her, how big and wonderful she was.
Right.
So really experiencing this, that this is, this is connecting us instead of disconnecting.
Right. Yeah, I think when we share those kinds of moments, those vulnerable moments or whatever, it is like, and you don't want to share it and just wallow around in it and bring everybody down. The point is you're showing them the new possibility. I was, yes, at this point, and this happened to me or whatever, and this is the story, and I'm sharing this because this was my aha moment, and you have that same possibility. Just like I said, it's giving the other person permission to crack it open to even see if this life is possible for them. To break out of that box. It doesn't break all at once. It kind of cracks open, little by little, and then it can fall away eventually. But it's definitely that we have to be more curious and playful and creative, and because that's much more working with our intuition. And so, I know we understand that when you're in that intuition is when you make the best decisions and the best movement in your life, because you're actually following your creative, intuitive path instead of blocking out everything that is the inner you, the real core you, the essence of who you are, and saying, no, I have to be just this. So, just breaking that open and showing people that you too, this is possible for everyone.
Exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful.
The more you show of yourself, the more that you give permission, the more I allow myself to shine, to be in a good place, the more I allow others to come into that good place too. And just doing ways that, and also something that was popping up is really remembering the mind knows only the things that you've already experienced.
Yes. I love that.
So you will never create something new from just living from the mind. If you don't allow in any way your creative self, your intuitive self to talk to you, to come through, there is nothing. Then if your life doesn't work, it will continue to not work if you use the patterns that you have been using. So it's really, okay, there is no, this is not working. There is another way, and let it through, and invite playfulness, experiment, and being at ease, seeing what comes up. That's why I love so much creativity. It's a way to come in contact with myself, and it's a way also to liberate and see that I can play more, and in that play there is something new emerging. Just like you were describing the process of, I've been putting words to my body painting, and so it just grows, and there is more and more that comes through. And because very soon I realized that, these words are precisely what I needed to hear today.
Right. Yes.
So it helps the flow and the higher self to come through and guide and say, hey, you can look at your life this way.
Yes.
and look at the situation from another point of view.
Yeah. That perspective, that's certainly true. Robin mentioned here, she says, that's my biggest fear in fully claiming myself, disappointing or losing family or friends. But I was losing myself, which is the greatest loss.
Oh, yeah.
That is huge for us. I know when I, was shifting myself and coming into my own and my own beliefs. Well, guess what? I had to release a lot of bad feeling beliefs that I was taught as a child and even through most of my adulthood. And when you start shifting away from those and installing new beliefs that resonate with your soul, guess what? I lost a ton of friends. I lost family members, and it is really hard, but you have to, it's like Robin said, she was losing herself, and that was the greatest loss. And that's exactly how I felt. I'm losing myself. I'm not being who I am. And why should I give up my life of joy and happiness and fulfillment for someone else who really doesn't appreciate it anyway?
Yeah.
Because you can't jump through all their hoops all the time. So they're always going to be mad at you for something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's really,
guys, you're never doing everything right. And we have to allow ourselves and love ourselves enough to promote our well-being, promote our joy. Because the thing is, then our cup is full and we have something to share.
Exactly.
Yes.
Really.
So is there anything else, that you would suggest, even little things that people can do to just start allowing themselves to crack that open?
Well, one thing that as I said, there is a lot, especially in our Western culture, to resonate and be only in our minds. So having small practices when you come back to your body. So having moments, if you feel tense, give you permission. And if you don't want to be seen, just find a place, but just shake and move and allow your body to release. So, and allow energy and playful movement happen. So shaking out the energy of when you feel tensed or even emotional, because just an emotion that you don't allow to come will find a way sooner or later. So the sooner you feel that there is something stirring, you can invite a shake, and this one will help you also to just feel that wave of feeling.
Yeah.
Tension release. And the other one is really slow down, and still in the body you can just allow intuitive movement, just really closing your eyes. And it's a 5-minute practice. You can do it longer if you have time and want it, but just allow your body to move just the way it wants to move, where it guides you, because it's also reconnecting, allowing it to guide you. And really, it's also a way to, for me, it feels as if my soul is catching up because I'm running too fast, and now I'm going slower and everything comes together again. And it's really, it's one of the intuitive expressions. It's really through the body. So the slowing down, instead of having your automatic pilot doing, what you've always learned, just discover, oh, that's a movement I never experienced, so I wouldn't have thought of doing it, but you just do it, and it just helps releasing something in you and soften.
So you're talking about like just sitting with our or standing or whatever with our body, probably, in nature would be probably the absolute best, but just allowing our arms to move with whatever, or our legs, or
yeah, ideally you do it with ideally you do it with whole body. But if I'm just here sitting and there is no way to not sit. You can just allow whatever is possible by staying sitting, but just allowing that. And yes, when you're naming nature, for sure, that's my best harmonizer that I know. It's really being there and taking in the sensation of fresh air, of beauty.
Yeah, because we don't have, I think that nature is such a release to us because we don't have resistance against nature. We accept nature for what it is. Why can't we allow that for ourselves? We don't look at this ugly twisted tree and yell at that tree because you're not beautiful. We understood that tree probably went through storm after storm after storm, and it's twisted and broken, but it's still green. And, we allow the beauty in that, but we don't allow the beauty in ourselves.
Yeah. That's definitely, somehow there is so much less judgment in nature. I've been years ago really having a quest of really, can I see people the same way I'm seeing nature? That was my deepest wish, because I could feel the beauty any places when I was outside, just like you were describing the trees. I even love even better all these twisted trees. I just see their character and what they have been able to come through and still standing and having curves that you couldn't have created otherwise. It's really like, hey, what a beauty. So all these flows that we have, they create this wonderful twist that just makes us unique and beautiful. That's what the trees are telling me when I see that in the trees, who controlled it, that's their beauty. And yes, it was through trial, but they are beautiful.
I love that. It's like, all of nature has a story, to tell us. If we'd just be quiet and listen, we would hear that story, just the feeling of that story. So I just want to ask you what, I know you have some coaching that you do, and you also have possibly an offer or something for our listeners. Would you like to tell us anything about what you're doing now or what you might be offering for our listeners?
Yeah, so it's really for, if you have also this sense of that you are holding back in your life, so not daring to be fully the way you are, if you have also these feelings of being drained, not finding your joy anymore, something that doesn't click. So that's something, as you heard during the conversation, I've been also there with trying to stand into what I believe how life looks like, and then opening that box slowly of there is more to life. And if you are someone who really wants to take that step from being in a place of either pleasing, either if you're at that place where there is more and you don't know how to do it because you don't know you have the capacity, or you're doubting that this is really a thing that is possible. So I have the possibility to support you with a introduction call or a review call, where we can really have a look at where you are in your life, and just what you really want, what is really important to you, and what's really going on right now. And from there, have a sense of what is your next step. And I'm also, that's what I'm offering here to your audience, Marianne, having this call to really explore that, to have an insight of what can I do next to come to my next level, and see how much ready you are to take that next step, because that's really so important, that we are committed to get unstuck and not come. So it's really
and
so
this is the link for her free review call. I want to see if I actually spelled it right because no, I guess error occurred. Wait, I'm gonna try again. Okay. So I will make sure I have the right link in the comments so that you can look for her. You can always look for her at oliviaflorian.com. It's right there under her name. I'll also put it in the post because she has some of these listed on her website. But go to her website anyway because she has some of her artwork on there. So you're going to want to see some of this. And, follow her on Facebook. I'll put that link in there too. Instagram, she is at Olivia Florian. And look, because she posts a lot of these creative, her artwork and her body painting when she paints her arm or leg or something. And then, adds that beautiful poetry that just touches your soul. So that's uplifting right in itself. To give you some ideas of what might be something creative that you can that you can look at and get some ideas about what you might get to do in your life to start cracking open that box of
exactly.
of normalcy, of people pleasing. So
and if you have some kind of creation that you're holding back, that allowing yourself to show it, that's been one of my steps. It's really believing that it's worth sharing and not up to me to decide if it's worth or not. And just not
it's that worthiness. I mean, a lot of it is we don't think we're worthy. Robin mentioned that Olivia is really great. I participated in a mini VIP retreat with Olivia last week. Now, Robin's in Dallas and Olivia's in Sweden. So this was a great opportunity to take advantage of the virtual. So you offer virtual VIP days.
Yeah, I'm offering. I have one more at the end of this month that I will do also, one more spot. And that's it's different from being in the same room, and still there is so much possibility because we can still express, we can still move, we can still use nature, really making that step of allowing things to be shown and seen. So
right. So you can, like I said, go to her website, oliviaflorian.com. And I'm just going to tell everybody a little bit about next week's, or not next week, but our next Coffee and Convo live will be Sunday, October the 25th at 10 a.m. Central Time. And our guest is going to be Naomi Rafalowitz. She's a certified life transition coach. And her topic is going to be living a purposeful life by knowing who you are at your core. She talks a lot about your essence, your core. And I just want to thank you so much, Olivia, for coming on here and sharing your creativity and sharing its hope that we can be happy and and live in vitality and creativity and solutions.
Really open the channel of life.
Absolutely. So go to her website. She has the offers listed there on her website. So, and you can work with her. She's, like she said, she's got another VIP day open yet this month, I think. And so if you want to take advantage of that and work with Olivia, go allow her to help you find that creative, emotional side that will create the wholeness of who you are. And instead of living in the box, breaking free of the box and be who you are, vital and vibrant and the authentic you. So one other little announcement I wanted to mention that we got big things coming up for 2021. We're going to carry Coffee and Convo Live to a podcast. So keep your eyes out for that. That'll start in January. But I just wanted to give you a heads up because I'm so excited about it. And then these won't be just every other week. These will be weekly. And we'll have shows for you on the podcast so that you'll get to meet more and more of these coaches, because the time is now to coach. During this COVID and during all the upheaval that's going around, we need coaches. I hire coaches. Olivia hires coaches because we need guidance too. We have places, we want to be further along, and we have to become that person. And as we coach with someone, we are taking those steps to become who we really are, to be where we want to be. And then we jump off to a new place. So it's ever evolving. It's always growing dynamically. And we are here to thrive. We are here to be in joy. So do you have any parting words of wisdom for us, Olivia, before we shut down?
Well, it's just dare to share something new of you. It's really just making little steps day by day.
Yeah. And again, don't beat up on ourselves or criticize ourselves for not being where we think we should be.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoying that step-by-step improvement. You're always up-leveling. You're always evolving. And enjoy those little baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. And also knowing that you will never be done. It's really...
Not when we're
enjoy and look back and see where you're coming from and enjoy that. But because the mountain, there is a new mountain each time you climb one. So that's really... Otherwise, it's really, I've never been, there is one more. Yes, of course there is one more. We want one more.
That's right. Well, I thank you again, Olivia. I so appreciate you and your work and your life and the joy that you bring to us and the inspiration to creatively be authentic to who we really are. I appreciate you. Thank you all. Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, all.
Bye.